Congratulations. I'm so excited to have you here. The reason why I created this channel was to make sewing fun for beginners. You see, on my journey, it was a little tedious and sometimes very frustrating. And I honestly wanted to give up so many times. But now, it's not so bad anymore. And so for anyone who's out there who's thinking, do you know what, is this for me? If you're a fashionista or you're a fashion enthusiast, then this channel is for you. Now, our first class today is going to be teaching you how to take accurate measurements for the female form. So stay tuned, walk with me, I'll show you how to do this. And now we're going to be taking the full body measurements of the adult female form. We will start with the circumferences, that's the measurements round. So we will start with the bust, the waist and the hip. When you measure around the bust, ensure that your tape measure goes across the bust. Ensure to put one finger in between so that it's not too tight and it's not too loose. And then you write down whatever you see. For the waist, you are measuring around the narrowest part of the body. Try not to fill your client up too much. They don't like that. So find the narrowest part of the body and then take your measurement. Make sure it's not too tight and it's not too loose. Put a finger in between, like so. Then we take the hips. Ensure that you're going round the peak of the butt. That's the highest part of the bone. Always ask your client to stand this way or to the side. So, please turn so they can see. Yes. I hope we can see this, the highest part of the bum. And then you take your measurement. Now, when you take this measurement, be sure to immediately take the hip line. The hip line is the distance between the waist and the highest part of the bum. And here's her waist, and here is the highest part of the bum. And then you take your figure. Now we take the biceps, which is here around the arm. So ask your client to make a fist. Please make a fist, thank you. And so we start all the way from the bottom up. So here, if you're making a long sleeve shirt or dress, halfway here, make sure to give a little room so it's not too tight. Here. Can we see this? Okay. Around here. Not too tight, please. Here. Make sure they make a fist so that you can get the highest part of the bicep. And then finally, around the armhole. The armhole is here, like so. Okay, now that we have that, we will take the length or the horizontal. And we will start with here. Get the nape of the neck, that's the bone here on the spinal cord. And then from here, look for where it dips into the back, here, and take your measurement. This is usually called the half length from the back. You will do the same in front. Ask your client to turn around, and then you take the measurement from the nape of the neck, which is where the neck meets the shoulder, which is here. The nape of the neck to where the center of her waist is, which is around here. Take down your figure. When you have this, the next thing to do is to take the length of the neckline. Ask your client, how low do you want the neckline to be? How low can we go? So from here, ask and then take down the figure. From there, you take what we call the bust span, which is from one nipple to the other. Please note that a lot of clients don't like you touching them in sensitive places, so you don't have to put it here. Just, ask them to put their finger where their nipples is. Please put your finger where your nipples are. Thank you. And just do this and get your figure. Thank you, ma'am. Now, we take from the nape of the neck, we're going to be doing something called the shoulder to the bust point, or the bust point. So from the nape of the shoulder to where the nipple is. Please face this way, ma'am. Thank you. To where the nipple is. Please put your hand on your nipple, ma'am. Thank you. And you put it there, and then you take your finger as well. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand down. And then we take the sleeve length. The sleeve length. How long does she want the sleeves to be? So you look for, there's a particular bone on the shoulder here. You put it there, and then you take the measurements all the way down. So from here, you can go here, here. Ask your client to please crook their elbow a bit. Please, thank you very much, ma'am. Take it here, here, go this way, follow the crook of the elbow. And the reason why she's doing that is if you're sewing a long sleeve shirt, if you don't ask your client to crook their elbow, if you take it straight like this, when they crook their elbow, the sleeve is going to jump up, and that's not nice. So you ask them to crook the elbow, and then you take your measurements all the way like this. Take your measurement. You can keep your hand here. And take your measurement all the way to the wrist. Are we following me? All right. And now we're almost done. Now we're going to take the length of the blouse, which is from the nape of the neck. Ask the client, go over the nipple, and ask the client, how long do you want your blouse to be? He may say here, or here, or here. Wherever it is, take that measurement. And if they want a dress that has no joining at the waist, you take your measurements all the way from the nape of the neck, across the nipple, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down to the floor, and then you take your figure. Sometimes it may be to the knee, below the knee, 3/4 of the way down, or all the way to the ground. So you ask your client what they would prefer. Now we take the length of the skirt or the pants, whichever it is. Start from the waist. Some people like their skirts or their pants to sit here. However, most people like their pants to sit here. Now this is called the band. So if you're making pants or a skirt, be sure to take the measurement of the band, which is lower, usually 3 to 4 inches lower than the natural waist, which is here. So the band is usually here. Ma'am, let's ask, where do you usually put your pants? See, here. And her natural waist is here. So 3 to 4 inches usually from the natural waist. So you want to make sure you take the measurement of that place. Make sure it's accurate, not too tight. One finger in here. Okay? Now from that place, take your measurements down to get the length of the pants or the skirt. So either here to the knee, below the knee, 3/4, or all the way down. Now, you want to ask your client, are you going to be wearing heels, ma'am? If she's going to be wearing heels, then you want to add like 2 inches such that when she wears a heel, her heels, the dress isn't sweeping the floor and it's not too high up. Okay? So you want to remember that. And finally, we're going to be taking something called under the bust. And most times you don't need this except you're making an empire cut dress. So, under the bust circumference is right under here, the bust as rightly named. One finger under there so it's not too tight. And you take your figure. And finally, the last measurement. Ask your client to turn. You want to take the shoulder measurements. This is critical, and that's why I left it last. Never forget the shoulder measurements. So, take your 2 fingers and try to feel for where that bone is. There's an indentation between here and here. So when you get it, take that measurement. So from here to here, this is the measurement of her shoulder. Whatever you have, please write it down. And that brings us to the end of how to take the accurate measurement of the full figure of an adult female. I hope you learned something today. If you enjoyed today's class, please be sure to give us a very big thumbs up, like our page, and please subscribe. Tell everyone you know about it, every fashionista friend you have, and everyone who's a fashion enthusiast to follow H.O.T. Creations. Thank you so much, and see you in our next class.